Yeah, listen, I've always been very supportive of Elon Musk. I think he is a genius. I've said that, written it,
Yeah.
said it on air many times. I've met him a few times now, and we've had really good encounters, and then we've had some quite frostier ones. He's cancelled on me twice for interviews for reasons which, honestly,
Oh,
it seem very trivial, really. For somebody who's a big free speech advocate, he's not that good at taking criticism. But ultimately, he's in charge of some of the greatest, most transformative companies in history. But I think that Elon, he ought to exercise a little bit more control, I think, of people like Ye and Alex Jones and others who are deliberately misusing his platform in a way that I think if it was anybody else, they would be banned.
you have talked about not being as afraid of some of the things that are alarming people with regard to the Trump administration because you have a personal relationship with him. And Bill Maher said something very similar. Bill was
Mm,
like, listen, I mean, the guy that's freaking all of you guys out is not the guy in the Oval
mm.
Office. What is the difference then? Like, what do you see that everybody flipping out isn't seeing? And listen, I think I understand the man's intentions.
Mm.
I'm like, okay, I get it with the tariffs, and I understand this, and I understand that. I'm not so sure about the strategy. Feels, a bit bombastic, more than I'd like. But there's definitely something that the insiders see that the rest of us don't with Trump. What is that?
He can be very charming and very funny and very entertaining. And honestly, how many politicians can you say those three things about in the world? Right. So he's the antidote to conventional politicians. It's the complete opposite. He doesn't control what he says that comes out of his mouth in a way that most politicians talk like controlled robots. He will crack inappropriate comments and jokes in a way that no other politician would dare do. He doesn't care about cancel culture because, as he's proven by winning back the White House, he's impervious to cancel culture. The more people try to jail him or shoot him or cancel him, the stronger he became.
Uh-huh.
So Trump is a complete unique character in the history of world politics. I've known him 20 years since I did the Celebrity Apprentice show. He's always been a very good friend to me, I have to say personally. So when I left the CNN job and came back to the UK from the United States, um, I could count on one hand the number of high profile Americans who bothered to stay in touch with me. Trump would get in touch with me every 3, 4 weeks. He'd either call me for a chat, he'd send me an email message, he'd see something about me in the paper and he'd print it out and he'd get his famous Sharpie and he'd send me an encouraging note. He asked if he could help me in any way. He didn't need to do any of that. And most people didn't, actually. And I remembered that he did. And so we formed a good friendship. Now, I'm not afraid to criticize him.
You're
And
not.
sometimes that's led to us falling out briefly, but he'll always fall back in with me. I was in this very dressing room actually when, after a 6 month period after I last interviewed him, when he'd gone nuts.
I know
It
about it. I
was actually,
remember.
it was actually a great interview, but he went nuts about the way we promoted it, even though I did exactly to him what he did to me on The Apprentice every night, which he eventually conceded. But he rang and the phone went. It was Piers, it's Donald. Are we good? And I was like, of course we're good, because actually for me, the good outweighs the negative with him. But he's always going to be his own person, and he's always going to shoot from the hip, and he's always going to say things which wind people up. And he doesn't always mean what he says, but his big picture gut instincts are quite good. In fact, I would say they're very good. Most Americans probably, if you sat down calmly with a group and said, would you like to see a stricter policy on the southern border to stop illegal immigrants coming in than you saw under Biden? Yes.
Choose Function because it's the only health platform that gives you access to the kind of data most people never see and the insights to take effective action. Inside Function, you can test over 160 biomarkers, from heart and hormones to toxins and inflammation, even stress. You can also access multi-region MRI and CT scans, and they're all tracked in one secure place over time. It's a near 360 view to see what's happening in your body, and that's why top health leaders like Dr. Mark Hyman, Dr. Andrew Huberman, Dr. Jeremy London, they're all behind Function Health. This is why I love Function Health. And you know what else? Lab visits are fast and convenient at 2,000 plus locations across the US. Just $499 a year, that's $1.37 per day for cutting-edge health insights. What sets Function apart? All the results are tracked over time in one secure place, so you see how your health evolves. Insights come from top doctors based on your unique results. These could cost over $10,000 if you did it on your own, and there are no perverse incentives. Function doesn't push supplements or pharmaceuticals. It's just powerful, unbiased health data designed to help you own your health. Learn more and join using my link, and the first 1,000 people get a $100 credit towards their membership. Visit www.functionhealth.com/Jillian or use the gift code Jillian at sign up to own your health. As the temps start to rise, I get that familiar urge to refresh my closet. But I am done wasting money on trendy pieces that I wear once, which is why I'm obsessed with Quince. The clothes are timeless, elevated, built to last, no insane markup. I'm talking about 100% European linen shorts and dresses that start at just $30. Italian leather platform sandals, luxe swimwear that looks straight off a runway but costs half of what you'd expect. Quince partners directly with top-tier factories, cutting out the middleman so you get designer quality at a price that actually makes sense. And they only work with ethical, responsible manufacturers who care about people and the planet. Personally, I stocked up on the linen tees and the tanks, and believe it or not, a killer summer dress. Occasionally, I do wear dresses. And honestly, it finally feels like my wardrobe matches my standards. Upgrade your wardrobe at quince.com. Luxury should never mean compromise. Team, give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince. Go to quince.com/Jillian for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Jillian to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Jillian.
And Trump's performed miracles on the southern border. Would you like to see peace, not war, around the world? An end to war in Gaza, an end to war in Ukraine? Well, yes, we would, yeah. Would you like to see America's economy on a fairer keel than it has been, particularly at the hands of China, who've been abusing, really, a lot of the American economy for their own gain? Again, yes. So you sort of go through all the things that Trump stands for, and everyone knows what he stands for. Most people probably agree with the big picture. Where they disagree sometimes is the rhetoric he uses to promote them and the way he goes about some of it. And I think that's something that's never going to change. And there is a real disease called Trump derangement syndrome,
Of course.
where a lot of people on the left just cannot even hear his name mentioned without going into some form of anaphylactic shock. And I just think it's just such a waste of energy. Apart from anything else, it makes him laugh. So you're just making him laugh. Is that what you want from your devil figure? So I think, look, he's a completely unique character. He's another person that backs himself completely.
Yep.
I think his whole life story is of a guy who has always backed himself, and he's done it to the highest office in the land twice. And people have tried to kill him, they've tried to jail him, they've tried to silence him, cancel him. The one thing you cannot argue about Donald Trump, he is the most resilient human being that's probably ever lived.
There is definitely that theme of people who are fearless, and I obviously have put you in that category. And I say this as a person who aspires to be as courageous as you are. Now, you mentioned like, well, I criticize Elon and I'll call out Trump and you'll get the cold shoulder. That is always kind of in the back of my mind. Like, I'm like, oh God, if I call out the New York Times piece and I ever want to put this on X, will there be something punitive? Will it get buried in the algorithm? But you aren't afraid of that. Is there anything, is there any topic you won't touch? Is there any truth you won't tell?
No, absolutely not. And nor is there any box that I will be put into. I will not be parked into any partisan box. I'm not left. I'm not right. I'm not this. I'm not that. I am me. I'm a journalist. I try and look at things objectively. I try to be firm and fair. I try to challenge everybody in the same rigorous manner. I try to call out bullshit where I see it. And I think that's why Uncensored has proved so popular, is everyone knows that I get everybody on. We have sometimes very passionate, fiery debates, or we have very long, interesting one-on-one interviews. We have the whole mix.
We do.
But ultimately, I don't think anyone can look at me and say, well, he's just a partisan hack. because I'm not. And I think that gives me a fairly unique place in this whole YouTube world, which is becoming, as we know, ever more dominant. I was in the Middle East last week, and I couldn't believe the number of young people in Dubai coming up to me who watch Uncensored. And they were loving
Everyone
it.
watches
When I said
Uncensored.
why, they said, because you get everybody on, and it's like a proper debate, and we want to hear both sides.
Active Skin Repair utilizes a molecule called hypochlorous acid. Now, when you apply it to the skin, the molecule works by mimicking the natural immune response to cleanse, soothe irritation, reduce inflammation, and support healing. Active Skin Repair can be used to treat a wide range of skin issues, including cuts, scrapes, burns, sunburns, diaper rashes, and other types of skin damage. And it's also safe and non-toxic, making it suitable for use on all skin types, all parts of the body, and you can even use it on rosacea, eczema, and acne-prone skin. With over 500,000 happy customers, thousands of 5-star reviews, and ingredients so safe and clean they can be used by the youngest member of the family to the oldest, you now have one simple solution for all of your family's skin health needs. So visit ActiveSkinRepair.com to learn more about Active Skin Repair and to get 20% off your order. Use the code Jillian. Again, that's ActiveSkinRepair.com and the code is Jillian.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And make sure to let me know what guests you want to see on in the future.